Hey, hello, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL Strategy Show Wild Card Weekend. And this should be a good one. Single lineup sim strategy show. We've used this tool all season long. It's been good to us as well as the traditional sim. So why change that now? Now, first of all, happy to have you guys with us. As always, take a single second, atone for your sins this morning, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, goes a long way for us. It's free to all of that, believe it or not. This may shock you. It's free. All of that is free to do. But it helps us feed that algorithm, and we appreciate you for that. So you just playing around with stuff over there?
I realized I didn't have the right overlay selected, and then it's been rearranged in here, so I'm not exactly sure where to find it. I'm working.
All right. Well, mess around for a second. I'll fill everybody in. So Jordan Klein is in Southern California, and and he has no power right now. No power because of the wind, the heavy winds. He's not in the danger zone, so that is good. Hopefully none of you guys are either. My guess is you wouldn't be watching this show in the event that you were. But stay safe if you're out there. Jordan Klein is not with us today, and Greg Ehrenberg is producing the show. So it'll go perfectly fine. Like, all we're doing is screen sharing. It's a pretty simple process here, and that's it. So if you see anything wild happening, well, you know why. You know why.
It's like me trying to figure out where everything is. Because we got it cleaned. We got this cleaned up in StreamYard, which means that it's different from what it looked like before, which is problematic for me because I'm used to pressing the same buttons all the time. But either way, as you guys could see here, because
you stole it from me. Go ahead.
I was going to say, might as well pretend that we're trying to do an ad read right now because it's stuck on screen. I found the overlay I was looking for here. But yeah, I'll pretend it was intentional and let you guys know that we still have the deal going. You get 1 free month of any core package of any of our Sims product when you sign up with any of our affiliate partners. And that link is down below in the YouTube description box. Also, not only does it apply to Stokastic, it applies to OddsShopper as well. If you guys wanted a free month of OddsShopper, sign up for any of those books down below in the link in the YouTube description box. Just make sure you go through that link. It's required for tracking purposes.
Yeah, man. Also, if you wanted to sign up for like 4 different books or 4 different pick'em sites, that's 4 months. All right, so check this out. The Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl date is, let's see, it's the 9th, right? And so it's the 9th. Like, you're getting this all the way through the Super Bowl. You're getting, if you signed up for 3 books or 3 pick'em sites, just follow those steps. You got the link in the description. You have to make sure to click claim offer. Send us a screenshot of your first settled bet after you deposit. Usually it's a $5 or $10 minimum deposit. And then send us a screenshot of your welcome email. That's it. Okay. And make it easier for Ron at customer service. Let us know what sports you want. So, like, if you signed up for BetMGM, Bet365, and FanDuel, which, by the way, you'd have like $400 in bonus bets if you did that, using that claim offer button down there, you could be like, give me a month of NFL. Let me do the whole postseason. Give me a month of the NBA and give me a month of PGA. That's core too. That's the $100 package, includes the Sims, includes a single lineup sim here, includes all of that. So no better time to jump in. Got to be 21 years or older to gamble. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But check it out. That's the best way to do it, hands down. I don't know how long we'll do this for, but as long as it's here, take full advantage of it. Also, if you're in non-legal betting states, all of those pick'em sites are included. Sign up on Underdog because Ben and I are going to do a show tomorrow. I think we're going to do a little marathon playoff best ball drafts.
Ooh,
so that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. Ben's hooked, man. This guy never played best ball in his life. Every year I go, will you just try it? You're going to love it, right? Like regular season. And now he's constantly hitting me up. We're going back and forth on it. So it's been fun. Very fun.
I've done 6 playoff drafts so far. I did them a couple weeks ago. So I did 6 of them. I think they were all Raven stacks, Zay Flowers in all of those lineups. So off to a good start for me.
That sucks. Hey, you know what? Maybe they'll have a decent enough game. He'll be back next week and you'll be okay. But anyway, let's dig into it, dude. We got a lot to talk about. Here's what Greg and I decided we were going to do. Hopefully you guys are okay with this. If not, well, tough shit. But I think you will be because we do this for you guys as the viewer. We'll build out a couple Saturdays, couple Sundays, and then we'll do the Saturday through Monday. We got all of these slates up there. The biggest prize pools are going to be the Saturday and Sunday, but I don't know about you, Greg. I love the 6 gamers, and we shouldn't have a whole lot of injury news to worry about. So I think we'll be okay there. For the most part, I think we're in good shape. Plus the Pittsburgh game with Zay Flowers, the Baltimore game, is Saturday as well. My guess is we'll be okay on that front. So why don't we just do it that way?
Let's do it. Yeah, we'll look at all the different slates. We'll toggle between DraftKings and FanDuel, build out some different lineups, and hopefully this covers all the different things that people want to say.
Yeah, man, let's make it happen. And of course, the actual sims, you can run all of these as well, like Saturday, Sunday, and all of the slates. So you'll have no restrictions on any of that. Plus, all of the showdown games on top of that. I know there's going to be some pretty good showdown contests too. So Saturday slate, Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens. Texans got a little bit of momentum instead of fully limping into the postseason. We saw that before pulling their starters last week against the Titans. Chargers have now been favored on the road in 3 straight games. Interesting spot. They're 2.5 3-point favorites here. And then the Ravens are 9.5 10-point favorites. Steelers truly limping into the postseason. They're averaging 14 points per game over their current 4-game losing stretch. I got to say, though, like I was doing my betting video for today, Greg, for the wild card week. You'll find this interesting. And I go back because I'm like, man, I know Lamar had that one good game against Houston last year. But outside of that in the playoffs, this guy has underperformed dramatically, like every single time. He is 0-5-1 to the over, or you could say 5-0-1 to the under in every postseason game that he has played. And they've taken some ugly losses as well. So while this clearly looks like a good spot and we're going to be getting to Ravens, I'm not entirely opposed to not being super overweight here in some spots either.
Yeah, and one other thing too, I just want to make this clear. If you guys didn't see me do this on screen, we currently have Zay Flowers in our projection, so I just set his projection to 0 fantasy points, so that when our sims run, he'll be coming in for a 0 fantasy point projection. And then as far as this is going to impact the Ravens, and you talking about some of their offense being down in the playoffs, I mean, this can't help.
Should we boost Bateman? Should you give Bateman should we just do that? Give him a projection boost here. It doesn't need to be a perfect science.
Yeah, I'll put him at 8.91 and then just say like Mark Andrews, but just give him each 1 extra fantasy point.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Well, if you're taking Flowers out.
Yeah.
I'd go up a bit on Likely as well. I'd give him 1 too.
Yeah, very inexact way, and wouldn't recommend doing this if you guys are building your lineups, just for the purpose of us trying to get a better idea of who the Ravens actually have as pass catchers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so at quarterback, few places you can go here. Look, Lamar is one of them, obviously, but I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert this week. I think he looks to be in a really nice spot. I don't mind Houston as 3-point dogs either, and I know Ben kind of liked CJ Stroud and company as a lower owned spot. I don't mind that, but Justin Herbert here looks pretty good. And you've got Quentin Johnston being far more involved now. He had 13 receptions on 14 targets last game, which was wild. Ladd McConkey is just kind of like a stalwart in this offense. He's going to be used heavily every single week. I don't know what to make of the Will Dissly and Stone Smart thing. Joshua Palmer's questionable coming into the week, but where do you want to go at quarterback? Because I wouldn't mind building one with Herbert here at that price point. He's really cheap.
I don't mind Herbert either. I mean, CJ Stroud also relatively cheap, and those are 2 cheap ways to build lineups. Obviously, also Lamar, he is currently looking like it's chalk at the position, but Justin Herbert, I agree. If we just look at the price tags, and if that's just what we were taking into account, ownership, he looks to be, fairly popular, but everybody's going to be somewhat popular. It's a 2-game slate. I do agree. Just first glance, Herbert looks like the best QB to be getting to.
Let's go to Herbert. And obviously we'll just plug I think we go on a 2-gamer like this. I kind of would like to get 2 of these guys in, maybe even 3. I wouldn't be opposed to, but What do you think? Just McConkey and Johnston out of the gate.
We could do that. McConkey and Johnston. Johnston doesn't project all that well, but neither do any of the other cheap wide receivers. So on a points per dollar rate, he actually does look like the best cheap wide out on the Saturday slate.
Do we have a prop on him yet? Let me see. Because we did already have a bunch of props coming out earlier in the week for this slate. We should have something here. Let's see. Wow, 42.5. See, that's lower than I would have anticipated. I guess the question is whether or not Palmer plays. If McConkey's at 73.5, so that's a nice number. Okay, so do you want to just see what we can do with defense first, like we always do here?
Yeah, and defense is going to be, I mean, we got the Steelers at $2,200. I know we typically just go cheap at defense, so that's
I'm fine with that.
One way we could go. The Ravens on high end are $3,700. There's pretty big. There's exactly $500 between each of the defenses for Saturday. $3,700 Ravens, $3,200, $2,700, $2,200.
I think we plug Steelers in here.
Okay, we could go Steelers.
So that's 6,000 remaining. I mean, one guy that stands out to me this week is Nico Collins.
Yep, and he makes sense as a run back in this lineup as well. I mean, if you look at the wide receivers, especially now under the assumption that Zay Flowers isn't going to play, the verbiage we got is that it's, I think, uphill battle was the terminology they used. You look at wide receiver, and it's, all right, Ladd McConkey, you've got Nico Collins. Then beyond that, I mean, like George Pickens, who's wildly inconsistent. We've got Bateman, who's going to be benefiting from the absence of Zay Flowers. But, I mean, you can't feel super confident in Rashad Bateman. So Nico Collins is going to land in a lot of lineups, I think, just because of how crappy the position looks.
For sure. And I think he should, too. Like, he's just a fantastic play here. With no Tank Dell, they're just going to have a really difficult time finding anybody else. Like, I don't know how much Deontay Johnson's going to be involved either. Like that, I have no clue. What does he? Let's see if Deontay Johnson has a prop. He does not. Nico Collins is at 87.5 this week, Greg.
It's high. That's probably so. Other than Ladd McConkey, that probably clears every other receiving prop by like 30 yards this weekend.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It clears McConkey by 14. Yeah, you're actually, matter of fact, hold on a second. Clears everybody else by 45.
It's a big gap.
Now, for what it's worth, Bateman will be higher up. Like, I anticipate if Flowers is out, Bateman's going to be around 50, I think. Maybe 48. Something like that. Actually, no, Pickens is at 54.
Mark Andrews' receiving prop, I think, will probably be higher than Bateman's.
Yeah, exactly. It will. So we just don't have those yet. So it doesn't. We don't have the full picture here. But all right, so that gives us 56 remaining. First off, I'm not terribly concerned about having a player against my defense on a 2-game slate. I don't know if Henry works though.
Yeah, if we put Henry in, we would have, maybe we have 4,700 left. So maybe leave him out for now. I guess we could plug in tight end now just because that'll give us a better picture of the salary we have to work with. And I mean, I don't know how anybody looks nearly as good as Mark Andrews now. Especially considering he's not that expensive. He's 4,700. If
Flowers is out, Andrews should be a 6K plus tight end. And he's going to project higher than that if Zay Flowers sits. All right, 59. The issue I run into at running back, though, is once you get below, and even Dobbins is just okay. They've struggled to run the football there. Once you get below that, I mean, you have a timeshare in Pittsburgh against the Baltimore defense's 10-point road dogs. So then you have Jalen Warren and Najee down there. I'm not saying they're unplayable. They certainly aren't on a slate like this. But past that, there is simply nobody in the playoffs. Like, you're not just going to start seeing Keaton Mitchell getting significant work. The only guy that I would say who's viable and I assume we don't have him in right now because he'd been out, but I think he's going to play, is Justice Hill.
Yeah, that's true. Justice Hill was dealing with a concussion, and I agree with you. I think that he should be back. It's also, though, part of the other issue. It's not a Justice Hill game script. This is a Derrick Henry game script. We got the Ravens. What are the Ravens? 9.5-point favorites?
Yeah, but Steelers defense really stands. I know they didn't last game against the Ravens, but this has been a spot that Lamar has traditionally struggled. You know, it's a divisional spot. So I agree. On paper, absolutely not the type of game script that you're looking for from Justice Hill. But I think he's going to be involved. Let me just put it to you that way. I still think that he's going to be involved.
I agree with that. It's not going. Let's see. What is the price point on Hill? Yeah, we don't even have him in here as an option. Oh, yeah, we don't even have him in here as an option right now. So we could go if I'm gonna play a cheap-ish running back, Jaylen Warren is my preference, just because this is a Jaylen Warren game script with the Steelers being 10-point underdogs, opportunity for some PPR points in the late going for Jaylen Warren.
Agreed. But how in the world did this guy last game out? Ben was talking about this on yesterday's show. How did he have one target? I mean, that's incredible. You know, but I'm with you. I still think that Jaylen Warren is the preferred option here over Najee. And in that previous game in Week 16 against Baltimore, he had 5 for 44 receiving. Probably one of those games where you just end up on him. So throw Warren in there. I'm okay with that for sure. And Einstein MS, you don't think we see Pierce, Laffy? I'm not saying this tongue like snarky to be snarky, Einstein, but is there something I don't know about Pierce? Because to me, I don't see why we would see Pierce at all. Honestly, I know that the guy was banged up and he was out for a little bit, but you know, since he's been back, he's gotten essentially zero work. Last week, they pulled Joe Mixon after the first drive. And the week before that, where he saw 5 carries, it was in the fourth quarter when they were down by, 29 points. So, no, I would anticipate Dameon Pierce seeing very limited work in a postseason game.
The last handful of actual games that mattered for the Ravens all the way through the Texans that actually mattered. Dameon Pierce had 1 carry for 4 yards against the Chiefs, no carries against the Dolphins, no carries against the Jaguars, no carries against the Titans, 1 carry against the Cowboys. And then the last couple of weeks, the workload was up. Starters sitting in the final game of the season didn't really mean anything. And the game before that against the Ravens, like you mentioned, he only played in the fourth quarter, and that was because it was 31-2, and they also didn't play the starters in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I don't think Pierce is super viable here, barring an injury. Honestly, I know he was good last time out, but the Titans had fully given up at that point. Fully given up. You have Andrews in there. What do you think happens if we played 2 Ravens against the Steelers defense?
We could find out if we plug Derrick Henry in here.
Try it.
Then we would have 4,300 left, and who fits in at 4,300? Oh my God, we'd be leaving so much. So here's what we could do. We could put Schultz in, and then we could upgrade the defense, because the highest projected player in here now is Schultz at $3,600, and that would give us 700 left over.
Okay, sure. Would Disley get us to the Ravens defense, though?
I don't think so, because he's only $200 cheaper than Schultz.
Okay. All right, let's try it.
So we take Schultz out. Instead of the Steelers defense, we go to...
Well, that doesn't work.
Yeah, never mind. That doesn't work. So we could, instead of Henry...
Go to Disley.
All right, so if we go Disley in the flex, it would help if I spelled his name right. All right, so if we go Disley in the flex, then for defense, yeah, same situation. Because we're still 100 short. What if we go... We could go to Mixon instead of Henry.
Try it.
If we go Mixon instead of Henry, then we could go Ravens defense. And then instead of Disley, we could play Schultz.
Try it. That's an interesting build because we have 3 Texans.
Game stack. Yeah. 3 Texans. And actually, it's probably not going to be that crazy if you think about it to have lineups that have something like 3 Texans players. 14% similar ROI, not great, but not totally terrible either. If you just think about it, Joe Mixon is going to be in a ton of lineups at running back. Nico Collins is going to be a ton of lineups at wide receiver. So if you just have any other Texans player in, it's not that crazy that you'd land on 3 Texans players without Stroud.
Not at all. Paul asked us to run it with the Steelers D. I'm okay with that. Let's try it. So put Henry back in. And mind you guys, things will look different once we get this Zay Flowers news as well. Steelers D, hold on, that gives us 700. Is there anywhere we can upgrade?
Not really. Because if you look at the highest projected player, it's Schultz by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah, and we definitely can't get to any. If you scroll down at tight end.
The other thing we could do is we could go to Disley instead of Mark Andrews, and then does that give us? No, still Andrews at the flex.
Are there any? Hold on a second. Are there any super cheap tight ends that project even remotely well?
Let's see. So instead of Disley at 3,400, we could go Likely at 3,200. Might be the same situation though.
I was just trying to see if there's anyone like super cheap.
Nah, the one that projects the best for super cheap is Stone Smart, but that's still 4 fantasy points at 2,900.
Okay. I was gonna see if we did Andrews with Smart, could we get Jaylen Warren up to Dobbins? Right. So like if you went Mark Andrews and then flexed Stone Smart.
Let's see. Well, if I go Mark Andrews and then just that running back, we're going to change this to Dobbins. Then we have 3,300 left for the flex, and we could go Likely.
Yeah, I mean the defense, we're gonna have 3 against the D, but that's an interesting build right there.
Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, no clue.
I have no clue either.
Also, I mean, you could have, it's very reasonable that no defense to score a touchdown. Then it's just like, hey,
damn, look at that. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what the defense looks like on a slate like this. 198, Greg.
Yeah, that is a high number. And we had, I guess it also helped that we did boost the projection of both Andrews and Likely. And then they're both in the lineup, so they're coming out as under-owned as a result of that.
That's a good point. But still, I would anticipate – I still think they're going to look good, right? Like they have to. Okay. That's not bad.
All right. Want to try a FanDuel one for Saturday? Should we move to Sunday and try FanDuel? What do you want our next move to be?
We're good. Try a Einstein, do you think Gus Edwards or Vidal has a role this week? Kamani Vidal, my guess would be, just given, Jim Harbaugh and all, my guess would be no. They didn't have Gus Edwards last week, and Vidal still did not see a single touch or opportunity. So I think the writing's on the wall here. I would not be surprised at all to see if Gus Edwards sits, J.K. Dobbins get a lot of work. If Edwards plays, yeah, I absolutely think Edwards will get used a little bit. Sure. FanDuel? I haven't looked at FanDuel yet.
All right, so FanDuel Saturday slate, same deal. Going to zero out Zay Flowers. We'll give Bateman an extra fantasy point, and then we'll give Andrews and likely an extra fantasy point.
And by the way, 16 ohms said run the original with Henry and Pittsburgh D. I mean, the one that we just ran might not have been the original, but it had even more Ravens than before. So that proves the purpose we were trying to get to there. All right.
Want to do a Lamar lineup?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, we haven't done that. So we could do Lamar and then
Andrews. He's still not that expensive given the FanDuel salaries.
Should do Bateman too.
Yeah, throw him in.
I don't think you need double stacks with Lamar.
I would almost rather try like a Lamar Henry Andrews stack.
Okay.
Another thing to consider too, guys, for this slate and the main slate, I mentioned this yesterday, but if you didn't watch, all good. I think there genuinely is something to be said, Greg, for and we'll see practice reports today. This should tell us what we need to know. But if Justice Hill doesn't play, because if you were to look at Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, is out there on passing downs. Derrick Henry last week and the previous week, 3 weeks before that, or 2 weeks prior. So week 16 and week 18, Justice Hill had the concussion, only played 7 snaps. So essentially consider Hill missing 3 straight games. Derrick Henry's 2 highest snap counts of the season. 3 highest snap counts of the season all came in the last 3 weeks. And while he wasn't targeted a ton, you saw receiving yards of 23, 18, 27 in those games. So again, is he going to be featured as in the passing game? Absolutely not. But if Justice Hill is out, Derrick Henry is going to play more snaps, hands down, because they're not going to want to give it to a young, inexperienced guy in Keaton Mitchell, especially against an opportunistic Steelers defense. And I think you could project him for 1 or 2 additional targets in the passing game as well. He would look even better in that spot. And as crazy as this sounds, he even pairs a little bit better with Lamar if Justice Hill sits.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And let's see, is Justice Hill? Yeah, not in here for FanDuel either. But anyway, Lamar, Henry, Andrews. Yeah, I think this is a good core to have. I also just want to check defense pricing because we're not going to put the Steelers defense in this one.
And for what it's worth, I would be, for those of you questioning or debating this in chat, I'd be shocked if Zay Flowers plays on Saturday. Yeah. Truly. When a coach comes out and says it's not season ending and he's day to day, that means it's not season ending, but he's not actually day to day. Like that, come on. He's not day to day. And now he's being considered, I just saw the most recent report here that came out this morning, as a matter of fact, Greg, only an hour or 2 ago, that he is considered a long shot. So Zay Flowers is doubtful. He's not playing this week.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. I'd be very surprised if he plays.
All right, so I like this build then.
Defense, Ravens very expensive, $4,800 on FanDuel. Which defense do you want to plug in?
Probably Houston.
Okay. And then we could always upgrade it if we have the available salary.
Yeah, Chargers. What's Nico's price point?
Nico Collins is $8,600 on FanDuel, but we also have $6,300 left per spot.
And let's look at the running back pricing since we already have Henry in.
Yeah, so we got Mixon is $7,500, Dobbins $7,100, Jaylen Warren only $5,600 on FanDuel, Najee Harris $6K. So if we went back to Jaylen Warren here, we're saving ourselves a good amount of salary, and same as over on DraftKings, probably even more so with FanDuel. None of these other running backs are viable to me.
I'll tell you what, Jaylen Warren's cheap for sure, but that price point on Joe Mixon, I mean, I know he hasn't been great lately, but you might see a massive workload for Mixon. You might see 25 opportunities in this game. To me, 7,500 is very affordable.
Let's see if we could fit him. If we go Mixon with Henry.
I think we can fit him and Nico Collins, honestly.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Is there any value at?
Nah, so there isn't. Let's see if we could go double tight end here.
Definitely.
Yeah, Yeah, I actually don't think it's doable.
No?
Because the best cheap wide receiver is Calvin Austin at $5,100. We have him projected for 4.6 fantasy points, and we have 51.33 left here. And the best cheap tight end is Will Dissly at 5K.
And at that point, you're just putting Isaiah Likely in.
Yeah.
So if you put Likely in, then that still gives us around 5,100 per player. That's not going to work.
It would have to be Likely Deontay Johnson, or it would have to be Likely Calvin Austin and John Mechie.
I don't think we want to do that. All right, and I don't even know if Mechie's going to play. All right, so I guess take Mixon out.
I was going to say the other thing we tried doing, although I think we still are going to run into the same issue, is Likely instead of Andrews.
That's not crazy.
It just doesn't give us, because there's this big gap in wide receivers where it goes from Bateman at 6,000 to Deontay Johnson at 5,200, and we still need those cheap players somewhere.
Well, wait a second. If you went to Andrews, or I'm sorry, if you went to Likely, let's just try it. That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah. So if we went to Likely, we have 5,500 for the remaining 3 spots.
So then if you plug in, let's just, for the sake of argument, go like Quentin Johnston and Bateman, what does that give us?
It doesn't work.
There's nothing you don't think that we can play it?
No.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. So should we pull Mixon and plug Warren in? I don't think Warren's a bad run back at all because I want to keep Nico.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll go Warren, and then I'll change Likely back to Andrews.
Definitely. Because I like the framework of this build for sure. Not to say it's not going to be popular, but
it's going to have to be Johnston and Bateman now.
Right, because we'd be doing the same.
And then at the flex, Likely fits in.
Try it.
But this is a
mega stack.
Ravens quad stack. Just Ravens.
Sometimes the Sims loves these though.
I think this one will come out well. No, I lied. I thought it was going to. It didn't.
Oh, what?
Maybe a little bit too much.
So Nico Johnston. I think the low Quentin Johnston projection doesn't help either. You mentioned that earlier.
And even though we boosted Bateman, it's not like he projects out all
not
that
at
well.
All. It might actually be tough to build Raven stacks right now.
I wonder if instead of, I do wonder on a play-by-play Sims if Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson lineups are just not going to rank out all that well.
Good call. Try it. Even on a 2-game slate. Can we get to, hold on a second. Throw McConkey in there. Because I think you're right. Okay. But we keep ending up in that kind of gross area.
Yeah, so we could do Pickens and Likely.
All right.
It's only a Lamar double stack now.
Yeah, look, I don't hate it, but I'm not loving the Lamar stacks right now.
This is usually not the case. FanDuel seems harder to build lineups on than DraftKings. Ooh, yeah, this came out way better.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, cool. That looks way better. A few tweaks make a difference. I don't love George Pickens this week, but I will say he's reasonably priced at the very least. No Henry there. I think you're right that the Lamar and Henry thing wasn't helping us. I didn't think it would make as big a difference, though, on a 2-gamer, but I guess it still does. All right, Sunday should be fun. Oh, do we not have just the Sunday only yet?
Yeah, we don't. We have, let me check. FanDuel. Yeah, we have the Saturday through Monday, though, and the Saturday through Sunday, which is bigger contests. I'm pretty sure Saturday through Monday, right?
Yeah. It is. It's Saturday through Monday. All right, let's try that if the Sunday's not up yet.
Yeah, Saturday through Monday. Let's see, does save our projections, or do I have to change Flowers again? Yeah, it's change Flowers again.
What is this? Why do they have... DraftKings has a Saturday through Sunday slate, right? A Saturday through Sunday slate, but it doesn't include the first Saturday game.
That's weird.
Yeah. You would... It's very odd. Whatever. All right, yeah, let's try it. I actually really like this slate, so I think it's a lot more fun to try and build them out on stuff like this. And there's a lot of directions we could take. Baker Mayfield's got Washington. Herbert, of course, has that Houston spot. A bunch of games here. So I'm excited to build some stuff out on this one. Also, let's see. Oh, okay, there's some decent prize pools here. The Spy is 20K to first. The Saturday to Monday special is 100K to first. Also, the Playmaker, there's another 100K to first. These aren't bad. I wish they were bigger for this slate, though, honestly. But they're not bad by any stretch.
More options, more options. We've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 games here. So, yeah, lots of different ways that we could look to go with these lineups. I wonder what the chalk is.
Got to be Baker.
So it looks like some of the ownership is a little weird here because it's, I don't know. There just isn't really any chalk. Almost every QB is the same ownership. I was looking like, how is there no chalk? And I look at it, it's just all of the QBs have similar ownership.
Okay, well, let's plug Baker in. I like Baker. I like Stafford. I like so many of these guys this week. Herbert, Hurts. What do we have Hurts
Mike
ownership?
Evans, right?
What's that?
Got to be Mike Evans then, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Mike Evans, 7,900. Kind of interesting. Mike Evans does project worse than Puka, Nico Collins, and AJ Brown, all of whom are less expensive than him. Mike Evans only pulling 10% ownership.
That is interesting, especially in this spot. I mean, look at the Jefferson and Puka Nacua. Those are. Should we hold on? Maybe do we call an audible here? Because I think you could do a Stafford Puka lineup too, and I'd be fully okay with that. I like that this week.
Are we writing off Cooper Kupp for dead, or is this a spot to?
I'm not writing him off for dead. No, absolutely not.
All right, Stafford is 5,700. Puka is 7,600.
How much is Kyron? Because I don't think we necessarily need to go Kupp here.
Kyron is 7,400. Kupp is 6,400. And only
how big is the difference in projection?
Ownership.
What's that?
3% ownership for Cooper Kupp.
Wow. What's the difference in projection, though? What's Kyron projected for?
Kyron projected for...
Scroll up.
Oh, yeah, that's why. So Kyron project for 17.5 fantasy points. He projects considerably better.
Want to try it?
Yep. And then Jefferson to run back?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we're going to have to get a cheap deep. We're going to have to do some stuff here because we're getting thin already.
Cheap defenses. So there's only 2 super cheap defenses. Steelers 2,200, Broncos 2,400. If we were to go up a little bit, the Packers are 2,600, and then you got the Commanders at 2,800. Oh, also Texans are 2,700.
Texans make sense there.
Okay.
Einsteinium, you live out in the Philly. Where do you live? You live in the area? Have fun. That should be a fun game. I went to Lambeau a few years ago for the Eagles Packers game. That was a good one for sure. Thursday night, Eagles got the W in that game too. Devontae Adams got hurt. That helped. And then I got stuck in Green Bay for 2 days. All right. Texas, I think he's a 46. Because running back here gets super thin.
Yeah, so to see if it's even going to work, I think we go tight end next and just go likely a tight end at 3,200.
Definitely.
And then we're at 51. Is there a cheap wide receiver? I'll sort by value.
Jake said I'd never go to the link in Packers gear. You'd be fine in Packers gear, dude. You'd be fine. It's not, you're not going in Cowboys garb or anything like that. Minnesota Vikings fans may take a hit because they were all crying about that game several years ago, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. But should be fine. Should be fine in Packers garb.
This happens all the time. People complain about, and it's not to say that things don't happen. You see those videos that go viral. Oh, fans showed up to opposing team's game and they get, knocked unconscious, blindsided, like a hook or something in the parking lot. But keep in mind this, it's like a plane crashing, right? When it happens, you see it on the news, but how many of them don't crash? How many NFL games does somebody go to in some other team's jersey and they don't get attacked in the parking lot?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Also, I don't condone that. And I mean this. I don't condone that behavior. I hit my buddies up all the time when I see that shit. And I'm like, yeah, all right. It's like, I'm in a spot in life now where I'm like, that's just, you're trash. I don't care if we wear the same colors. It's trash. However, there's plenty of instances where fans from the opposing team talk shit and try and call the Eagles fans bluff. At that point, fair game. You asked for it. But unprovoked stuff drives me nuts. I don't like that. It's someone like going to the game with their kid wearing different colors. Fuck off if you're going to give them a tough time with their like 8-year-old boy who's at it first. Come on. I hate that. But aside from that, respect though, Einsteinium said he embraces the banter. You'll be fine. You going by yours? Who are you going with is the question.
Yeah. So at wide receiver now, let's see. If we're going to look, we're going to need to go cheaper than 51. Well, unless we go double tight end. If we go double tight end in the flex, Zach Ertz is 4,300. We got Hawkinson at 42.
Or you could get the double run back with Hawkinson. That game could shoot out. Let's go Hawkinson.
All right, Hawkinson at 42. So we got a double stack or a double run back. And then at running back, 55. Wide receiver, also 55.
What's Khalil Shakir priced at?
Shakir is, so if I'm not mistaken, we could go Shakir and Warren.
I mean, that Khalil Shakir price is just too good.
All right, so let's go Shakir at 53. And then I know Warren fits. Maybe there's somebody else who projects. Nope, it would be Warren here.
Wow.
We would leave 600 in salary on the table. We could upgrade defense.
We can. But just throwing this out there, this is tough to build. There's so many top tier players. These are tough lineups to build, man. And on a play down slate where you have condensed, not rosters, but condensed playing time, you're not going to see a lot of things open up.
All right, so here we go. Running this, we've got Matt Stafford stacked with Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. We're running it back with TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson. This will be a really fun game to watch this weekend as well. If the Vikings lose, I mean, what a bad run out for a season for them, which to go 14-3 and end up as a 5 seed, that just sucks.
It does, but they embarrassed themselves on Sunday night. So yeah, I guess it happens. All right. It's not terrible. Is there I'm just trying to think before we build a FanDuel lineup. Is there anything we can tweak?
So anything that we could tweak here,
Because remember, we tweaked that Saturday lineup with a couple tweaks, and we got it from like 14 to 198. Right. So there are things I don't think we want to take. Let's kind of reverse engineer this then. We don't want to take Shakir out, right? At that price point, he just seems like a very good value right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. So I don't, there's nothing that immediately stands out to me as being something that is replaceable in this lineup or that makes a ton of sense.
What if you took out Kyron? What can we get? Go to running back. Go
He's
to
the one
Bucky.
who projects the best.
Yeah, go to that's exactly where I was trying to go.
To
Bucky.
no, never mind. My
No,
bad. I don't have it sorted by projection. We could go Bucky.
Go to
Irving
Bucky.
here.
That's what I was hoping we would get here. So if we go to Bucky there, drop it back down the Steelers defense.
We could also, if we took Shakir out, we could go down to
Steelers D, right?
We could go Cup, and then defense would be the Packers.
The only thing I don't know is we're putting in a guy that's $1,000 more that projects for fewer points than Shakir. Not bad.
Yeah, this came out much better.
Try one more thing. Let's take Cooper Kupp out. Take Cooper Kupp out. And then let's see what we have at wide receiver. Is there anybody else? Even if we just went with a skinny stack Stafford, is there anybody else that projects okay? Like Addison projects nice, but that would give us 3 Minnesota.
I mean, we could also go Addison and then take Hawkinson out.
Try it. Yeah, why not?
Instead of Hawkinson, well, maybe he does project the.
Well, wait. Well, what about Ertz? That's actually perfect. What about Ertz?
Yep, we could go Ertz instead. That works. And then we might be able to upgrade defense again.
Yeah. Einsteinian, we can't go Nico over Puka in this spot with Stafford as our quarterback. Yeah. I'm interested to see. This should do well. The only thing is it's a skinny stack on a small slate, but I'm not totally opposed to this type of build. 140. Not bad. Not bad.
Looks good.
Try one on FanDuel.
Let's do one on FanDuel.
And by the way, guys, for those of you that jumped in late, remember, you want to get access to any of our tools with the core package, it's down there. You'll see it. Join any sportsbook, gets the Stokastic Sims for free. That's simple. Click that link. Click claim offer on whatever books or pick'em sites if you're in non-legal states, whichever ones you want. And then just sign up. Takes a minute to instantly verify yourself. Deposit, usually $5 or $10 minimum deposit. Place a bet. When that bet settles, the steps are right there at the top of the screen on that webpage. You can't miss it. When that bet settles, just take a screenshot of your first settled bet and of your welcome email from whatever books they may be, and shoot us an email to support@stokastic.com and let us know what you want. If it's one book that you signed up on, you get a month of core for whatever sport you want. You signed up on 5, you get 5 months of core, $100 value each, plus all the bonus bets you're collecting over there from those books. So easiest way. I mean, you run it through the postseason too, through the Super Bowl, and a lot of other sports in full swing. PGA just got underway. We have Sims for that as well. So yeah, I mean, no better time to dive in. Even with football winding down, you still got a month to go. All right, FanDuel. Let's take a look at some of the pricing here. See if there's any just like good value.
All right, so FanDuel, if we're looking at, I'm going to have to do the same deal, 0 out, say, Flowers. And then at tight end, Change Likely and change Andrews. All right. Now we're good to go. So let's see. What can we do that's different here? Just checking some of the top value. Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield. Let's see it. Running back, Bucky Irving. All right. So my first thought here, Lofty, is a Jaden Daniels stack.
Okay. Sure. I'll do Jaden. Yeah. I mean, if we're doing Jaden, I want Terry in this lineup, and we probably want Ertz. I don't think we need to go +2. So if you just wanted to go Ertz, I'm fine with that. And maybe the projections don't bear it out right now, but it definitely feels like one of those weeks where, especially with a potent Tampa Bay offense, that Terry McLaurin, that a lot of this target volume concentrates around him. So does he have a decent projection or no? And is he too expensive? Because it just might not work. And if that's the case, we just won't play him in this.
McLaurin's $7,700.
That's a lot.
12.45.
Yep, that's a lot. I don't want to. No, I don't think we do that. I love Jefferson this week too.
Bucky Irving is going to make a lot of sense as a run back, in my opinion.
Bucky Irving's just too cheap again.
Let's see. Other running backs for this slate. Hopefully projecting for right around 20. Boy, there's a big projection here on Barkley compared to the other running backs. I definitely prefer Barkley to Henry if I was spending up.
Yeah. If Justice Hill's out, I might change my mind a little bit. Because I think Henry would legitimately be locked into 75% of snaps. And that's not something you see very often. But for now, yeah, Barkley looks very good.
Interesting. Barkley, even at $9,600, Barkley we have as the second best points per dollar running back on FanDuel.
Can we make it work? Let's try it. I mean,
so.
Put him in and just plug a cheap defense in.
Let's see what's cheap. $3,900 for the. Actually, I don't hate taking some shots on the Rams. Sam Darnold definitely had. Not saying that this is going to be recurring or is indicative of anything that happens this week. The moment definitely looked a little big for Sam Darnold last week, though.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, go Rams. I'm fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. 6,100. All right, so we ran into issues here last time on the 2-gamer. Do we have enough value on a 6-gamer for this to work? I don't know if we will.
If we go Jefferson,
we might have to double tight end.
Yeah, so if we go 50, it's just the min prices are different on FanDuel. Like Isaiah Likely's 5,200.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. We could try.
Yeah, try it. I'm sure people would like to see if we could make something like this work anyway.
What are the cheapest wide receivers who are okay on a points per dollar basis? We have to look for guys in the 5K range.
Mims.
No, he's 59.
Keon Coleman.
It's 53. We need right around 5K flat.
Sort by value.
That's what I have it sorted by.
Okay.
Well, not anymore that I went over, but
how much is Shakir? Just curious here.
Shakir.
60, I see him. He's right there. He's 6,200. That's a good question. Yeah, type in Olamide Zacchaeus.
Okay. He's 56.
We might have to pull Jefferson.
Yeah, I think we do. Or Barkley, one of the two.
I think Jefferson, just because Barkley right now projects better, and we have some other. Do we have Einstein said Packers receivers? Yeah, I know Watson's out, but man, those receivers, they are so tough to project. Very difficult.
Who are the good wide receivers around 6K? Shakir at 62. Jaden Reed is only 6K. So those are a couple ones that make sense. Shakir, Jaden Reed. Dobbs is $5,800. Wicks $5,400. We got McMillan here at 64.
It's a shame McLaurin is so expensive.
We could go Zacchaeus at 56 here, and then that would give us whoever's the best at 69, which
Jordan
is
Addison.
All right.
FanDuel's actually
terrible.
No, it's not terrible, but FanDuel's tough to build.
Yeah, they made the studs really expensive. And there isn't, usually you get those guys who it's just complete misprices on FanDuel on the cheap end, and we don't have that this week.
No, they're falling. Yeah, there's no one fell through the cracks. And again, though, it's because these guys aren't going to see the type of volume they would see in a regular season game. But that came out nice.
Yeah.
So we had a few that didn't look great. We made some tweaks. They turned into pretty good lineups. We had a few that on the first try looked good. This, though, I don't know. These type of shows are valuable to me because I can see early in the week what type of builds are plausible, like what actually works, what doesn't work. And then you can kind of refine your process going into Sunday and Saturday. Because these, like, yeah, Greg, you have 6 games if you wanted to do the Saturday through Monday, but that doesn't mean you can just load up on like 3 and 4K guys. You just can't. Stars and scrubs is going to be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking at FanDuel and DraftKings, I think this is the first time all year we built lineups where it's been harder on FanDuel.
We could go in the FanDuel all season and close our eyes and be like, oh, nice, 250%.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't mind it, though. I don't mind it. It looks good. Bucky, I think Bucky is clearly one of the guys that at his price point stands out. He's going to be popular. That stands out at his salary. We'll wrap up the show with this because I want to know if there's anything maybe I missed or I'm forgetting. The best value to you on some of on either side, we can say 6-game slate just to make it easier. To me, Bucky Irving on FanDuel pretty clearly. And then I think the $5,300 DraftKings Khalil Shakir also kind of stands out as somebody that is probably going to project pretty well for us and end up in a lot of spots. And then obviously the Baltimore players if Zay Flowers is out.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say Mark Andrews at tight end. That's going to be a staple on any slate the Ravens are on.
Do you think it's just going to happen where in a lot of these lineups, Jaylen Warren becomes kind of a lesser of two evils kind of necessity piece?
With Jaylen Warren, yeah, if more value doesn't open up, probably, especially on that Saturday slate.
The Saturday one for sure. You can follow Greg at G Ehrenberg DFS on Twitter, me at Laffy_D. Anything else before we get out of here? And as always, guys, appreciate you hanging out. Greg and I will do this on Friday. I think Friday will be an important one. Looking over these sims once projections are updated and everything again for the Zay Flowers, doubtful. So we'll be here Friday. Anything before we go?
No, that's going to do it for me.
Sweet. Hey, appreciate you guys. Check out the First Look show with Ben and myself yesterday if you haven't done so yet. You got NBA Live Before Lock and Deeper Dive coming up tonight on top of that. So everything you need right here on the Stokastic YouTube channel and over on OddsShopper if you're a betting person. Of course, Portfolio EV if you're looking to dig into those streets, start making some money. Links in the description. Our DMs are always open to answer your questions. We will see you back here for the next one. Peace.